All right. Just going to give a few minutes for some of our friends to get here. So what did you do yesterday, Marcus? What did you do with your mom besides breakfast in bed?
We went to say Happy Mother's Day to her mom and my Meemaw's mom.
Oh, cool. What about you, Bree?
Me and my brothers made my mom cards.
The best kind. Oh, Victor, what about you, buddy? Unmute your mic. Hey, Victor, unmute your mic, buddy. Yeah, your microphone's still muted. There you go. What did you do yesterday with mom?
Play outside.
There were a few spots where the day was kind of nice, wasn't it? Marcus?
Yeah. And I made my mom a vase and I drawed her the picture.
Nice. Oh, those are the best kinds of gifts that you can give our homemade ones. Emmy, hi. Did you have a good Mother's Day with mom yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Did you do anything special?
We used to really stay at home and played with her.
Yeah, that's about all you can do. Hey, Hayden. Hi, Riley. How are you? You can unmute your microphone. How you doing, Riley?
Good.
Good. Did you have a good Mother's Day with mom yesterday?
My
Yeah.
mom made muffins the day before Mother's Day. So on actual Mother's Day, we said Muffin Day instead of Mother's Day.
Okay. Well, that's okay. That's all right. Oh, it's good to see all of you. This is our last week, and last week of instruction. So anyway, I'm gonna talk a little bit about this week, and then I have a story. We're gonna talk about characters and their feelings and how they maybe change throughout the story. I know that characters and their traits is something that we talked a lot about all year. But it's always something that we always need to go back and kind of revisit every once in a while. And if you've been doing a lot of reading, hopefully you've been paying attention to the characters' feelings, if they change from the beginning to the end. Marcus.
I only have 2 more assignments because I started on my work.
Good. How many of you are all caught up on your assignments? Raise your hand if you're all caught up on your work. And that's okay if you're not. How many of you are still working every day, though, just a little bit to get done? Yeah. And it's okay if you don't have everything all done. I've got work that's been sent from parents. They've been so supportive in sending work that you've completed, and I've got it on my computer. So I know that you are doing the work, and even if you're not all the way up to date where everybody, it's okay. I know you're working hard. But anyway, this is the last full week of instruction. There are some new spelling words and some vocabulary words. I'm going to kind of pick and choose some stories. Has anybody had a chance to look at what the big question is and what you think that this topic is going to be about? Emmy, what do you think? If you've had a chance to look at the background video?
I already did.
You did? So what do you think that the main theme, or what do you think is going to be going on, or for this week?
Like United States or like other continents?
Okay. Yeah, so we're going to be looking at our United States, and what does America mean to you? All right, so anyway, just be thinking about that a little bit this week. Let's see here. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that is coming in. All right, so far I think. All right, awesome. Does anybody, while we're waiting, does anybody have any questions about anything at all with the assignments? Or how many of you were able to get the unit test done last week? Yeah. What did you think of it? Was it hard, or was it
Kind of hard.
hard?
Kind of
Yeah. What did?
hard.
Yeah.
Medium.
I know that it's very different from taking it on the computer for sure. How many of you thought that taking it on a paper, like doing it the way you did, is a little easier than doing it on the computer? You like doing it paper pencil versus on the computer? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, Emmy, did you want to say something? I know your hand was up before.
I thought the test was a little bit off and on, like easier. So, like when the typing was like when I had to write more paragraphs, then that got a
Right.
little difficult.
Right. Yeah, the writing is really kind of a big thing. When it talks about paragraphs and everything, it takes at least 3 to 4 sentences to make up a paragraph. I know some of you were asking, well, how long should it be? 3 to 4 sentences is usually a good amount for a paragraph. Hey, Kate and Annalisa, thank you for coming in. I see you. How are you?
Good.
Good. Annalisa, how are you doing, sweetie? Doing okay? You can unmute your mic. Okay. Well, she can't hear me. She's on the move. All right, boys and girls. Well, if you do not have any more questions, we'll be doing another check-in this week. I'm still waiting on information and finalization about when you can come to school to pick up your stuff. I have not seen anything official come out yet. I'm going to try to get a hold of a schedule and try to figure out what's going on. I'm thinking maybe with the weekend, the information just didn't get out yet, but I will let you know. I'm going to plan another Zoom meeting, probably. Guess what? I have to go into school on Wednesday. I get to go back to the building to go in and start bagging up things and shutting down my room, which is going to be very sad to do, but I have to do it. So I'll be making sure that I get all of your things, and you'll know about when you can come and get those. All right, so boys and girls, I am going to read a story, but first of all, I want to go over this week. We're going to be looking at character traits, and we're going to be looking at how characters respond to certain events. Sometimes, characters start out with a problem, and then they have to figure out ways to solve the problem. So we're going to find out this story. Now, I need everyone, if you can go ahead and mute your microphones. I'm going to go ahead and get started.
I wanted it in the afternoon.
Can everyone see this book?
Yeah, I got it.
This book, this is a story called The Ugly Vegetables, and it was written by Grace Lin. And before we get started, what do you think that this story might be about? I'm going to switch you back here so where I can see, because I want to see some hands. And what I'm going to do is ask you to keep your microphones muted. And if you raise your hand, I will ask you to unmute your microphone, and then you may speak. You really need to listen, because I'm sure everybody's got some ideas about what they think The Ugly Vegetables is going to be about. Emmy, what do you think that this story might be about, Ugly Vegetables?
I think it's going to be about one of those two, like probably the kid thinking that some vegetables are ugly, like things that are odd looking, like maybe like plums.
Okay, so possibly that we have a character in here who's going to look at vegetables as being ugly. Victor, what do you think this story might be about? Unmute your microphone. Victor, what do you think this story might be about? Need to talk a little louder so I can hear you. Can you talk? I don't know if your microphone's turned up, buddy. Yeah. Can you hear him? Yeah, I can't, Victor, I can't hear your sound, buddy. Anyone else have an idea? What do you think the story might be about? Does anyone know of any vegetables that they think are ugly? Emmy, what do you think about a vegetable that's ugly? What one do you think
I
is
don't
ugly?
really think that onions are ugly. They just don't smell good.
Yeah, they don't smell good. You are right. Some vegetables I think can be stinky. That's a good answer. Bree, unmute your microphone. What do you think an ugly vegetable might be? Or what do you think is ugly?
A zucchini.
A zucchini. Okay, good answer. Riley, what about you? Do you have an idea? Do you know of a vegetable you think is ugly?
What was you gonna say? You gotta raise your hand.
I actually agree with Bree.
Okay. Marcus?
A parsnip.
A parsnip. I haven't heard that word in a while. A parsnip. Okay. All right. Kaden.
Onion.
Onion. Okay. Emmy had mentioned onion. Yeah. Some people might think an onion is not a very pretty vegetable, and it certainly can smell kind of strong, huh? All right. Well, let's go ahead and see. So as we listen to this story, let's focus on the main character in here, and I think we're going to find out. You'll know who this main character is. Who do you think we've got? It looks like a mom and a little girl. Who do you think this is going to mainly be about? The character who's going to?
I'm not talking to you.
Annalisa, who do you think the main character is going to be?
Yeah.
Think it'll be the little girl or the mom? Mom or the little girl? Or both? You think they're both going to be main characters? All right, well, let's go ahead and read The Ugly Vegetables. I'm going to turn this around here. All right, can you see it pretty good? All right. In the spring, I helped my mother start our garden. We used tall shovels to turn the grass upside down, and I saw pink worms wriggle around. It was hard work. When we stopped to rest, we saw that the neighbors were starting their gardens too. Everybody seeing that okay? Give me a thumbs up if you're seeing it okay. All right. Hello, Irma, my mother called to Mrs. Crummerine. Mrs. Crummerine was digging too. She was using a small shovel, one that fit in her hand. Mommy, I asked, why are we using such a big shovel? Mrs. Crummerine has a small one. Because our garden needs more digging, she said. I helped my mother plant the seeds, and we dragged the hose to the garden. Hi, Linda. Hi, Mickey, I called to the Fitzgeralds. They were sprinkling water in their garden with a green watering can. Mommy, I asked, why are we using a hose? Linda and Mickey are using watering cans. Because our garden needs more water, she said. Then my mother drew funny pictures on pieces of paper, and I stuck them into the garden. Hello, Roseanne, my mother called across the street to Mrs. Angel Howe. Mommy, I asked, why are we sticking these papers in the garden? Mrs. Angel Howe has seed packages in her garden. Because our garden is going to grow Chinese vegetables, she told me. These are the names of the vegetables in Chinese, so I can tell which plants are growing where. Chinese vegetables. How many of you have ever had Chinese vegetables? Has anybody here ever eaten Chinese food? Bree, have you have? What do you think about Chinese vegetables? Do you like them? Yeah? Okay. Is everybody still able to see really good? Okay.
Kind of. I kind of like Chinese vegetables.
Yep. I think they're very good. But you know what? Let's take a look. How does this little girl look right now? Do you think she looks happy or sad?
Dad.
Yeah, she doesn't look very happy. I wonder why. Does anyone have any ideas about why she might not look so happy right now? Raise your hand. Let me see here. Marcus, why do you think she might not be real happy?
Can you raise the book up a little bit more, please?
Like that?
Because they're watering the plants.
Okay. What kinds of things are the neighbors planting? What are the neighbors planting? They're planting flowers, right? And they're planting, and the girl's mom, they're planting vegetables. And I'm wondering if maybe she's not real happy because the vegetables don't look as pretty as the neighbor's flowers. Let's see what happens here. Pay attention and see if her feelings change anytime throughout the story. Marcus, can you see it okay?
No, because I can only see a little bit of it. Yeah, there.
Okay. All right. Emmy, did you have a question?
If your like computer or phone is like on the little side, you can like turn it to the bigger side, and it will make all the pictures like sort of like bigger and longer.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Can you see it better like this, boys and girls? Or do I need, let's see here. Here it's not so big, is it? I'm sorry that we're. Okay. I'm trying to see if I can get a better. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to. What about this? Can you still see it?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Mhm.
All right, so I don't see any of your faces right now, but are you able to see this pretty good?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so one day I saw our garden growing. Little green stems that looked like grass had popped out from the ground. Our garden's growing, I yelled. Our garden's growing. I rushed over to the neighbors' gardens to see if theirs had grown. Their plants looked like little leaves. Mommy, I asked, why do our plants look like grass? The neighbors' plants look different. Because they are growing flowers, she said. Why can't we grow flowers? I asked. These are better than flowers, she said. Soon, all the vegetable gardens were blooming. Up and down the street grew rainbows of flowers. The wind always smelled sweet, and butterflies and bees flew everywhere. Everyone's garden was beautiful, except for ours. It does look pretty. Ours was all dark green and ugly. Why don't we grow flowers? I asked again. These are better than flowers, Mommy said again. I looked, but saw only black, purple, green vines, fuzzy, wrinkled leaves, prickly stems, and a few little yellow flowers. I don't think so, I said. You wait and see, Mommy said. Before long, our vegetables grew. Some were big and lumpy. Some were thin and green and covered with bumps. Some were just plain icky yellow. They were ugly vegetables. And sometimes I would go over to the neighbors and look at their pretty gardens. They would show the poppies and peonies and petunias to me, and I would feel sad that our garden wasn't as nice. So here, the character is already telling us how she feels. She feels sad. And I looked in your comments, some of you when I looked at your comments, that was a prediction, or that's what you had said at the beginning, that she looked like, sad. And she's comparing, so she's not real happy, but I wonder if her feelings will change. One day, my mother and I picked the vegetables from the garden. We filled a whole wheelbarrow full of them. We wheeled them to the kitchen. My mother washed them and took a big knife and started to chop them. Wow, she said when she cut them. She had to use all her muscles. The vegetables were hard and tough. This is a Huanggua, Mommy said, handing me a bumpy, curled vegetable. She pointed at the other vegetables. This is Cheyenne Say, and that's a Tuong Hao. I don't know if I'm pronouncing those right, boys and girls, but that's the best I can do. They're hard to pronounce. I went outside to play. While I was playing Catch with Mickey, a magical aroma filled the air. I saw the neighbors standing on their porches with their eyes closed, smelling the sky. They took deep breaths of air like they were trying to eat the smell. Let me ask you a question now that I see all of you. What do you think might be making the air smell good? Raise your hand. What do you think? Riley, go ahead and unmute your mic. What do you think is making the air smell so good?
It might be the neighbor's flowers or their vegetables.
Okay, now remember that the neighbors were planting all kinds of flowers and the little girl's mom was planting vegetables. I wonder, what can people do with vegetables? How can people make vegetables smell good? I like your thinking, Riley. What do you think, Emmy?
They can cook them. They can cook them.
Okay, they can cook them. How many of you have ever smelled vegetables cooking on a pot? In a pot. How many of you? Okay. All right. So it's possible that they might be smelling the flowers, or they could be smelling vegetables. So let's see. Let me go ahead and carried it up and down the street. Even the bees and the butterflies seemed to smell the scent in the breeze. I smelled it too. It made me hungry, and it was coming from my house. When I followed it to my house, my mother was putting a big bowl of soup on the table. The soup was yellow and red and green and pink. "This is a special soup," Mommy said, and she smiled. She gave me a small bowl full of it, and I tasted it. It was so good. The flavors of the soup seemed to dance in my mouth and laugh all the way down to my stomach. I smiled. "Do you like it?" Mommy asked me. I nodded and held out my bowl for some more. "It's made from our vegetables," she told me. And then the doorbell rang and we ran to open the door. I wonder if the girl's feelings are going to change now. I wonder if she's going to go from being sad to being happy. I don't know. Well, I think she looks happy right now. All our neighbors were standing at the door holding flowers. "We noticed you were cooking," Mr. Fitzgerald laughed as he held out his flowers. "And we thought maybe you might be interested in a trade." We laughed too, and my mother gave them each their own bowl of her special soup. My mother told them what each vegetable was and how she grew it. She gave them the soup recipe and put some soup into jars for them to take home. I ate 5 bowls of soup. 5 bowls. Oh, I don't think I could eat 5 bowls of soup.
I will only be able to eat 2.
Oh, that might be all I could handle too, but I don't know if that soup was really tasty like she's saying. I don't know. Maybe I could eat 5 bowls. And it was the best dinner ever. Did I skip a page? Oh, I did not. So they're all having a feast on that soup. And then the little girl and her mom, they get pretty flowers. That was a nice trade, I think. And the next spring, when my mother was starting her garden, we planted some flowers next to the Chinese vegetables. Mrs. Crummerine, the Fitzgeralds, and the Angel House planted some Chinese vegetables next to their flowers. And soon the whole neighborhood was growing Chinese vegetables in their gardens. Up and down the street, little green plants poked out of the ground. Some looked like leaves and some looked like grass. And when the flowers started blooming, you could smell soup in the air. Oh, it just makes me want to jump into the story and be in there. Just looks so pretty. And that is the end of the ugly vegetables. So what do you think? How did the characters' feelings change? Characters' feelings change. Riley and then Caden. Riley, how did the characters' feelings change?
I was gonna say that I don't think from listening to that story that the vegetables were actually ugly.
I didn't think so either. I thought they looked okay. But I think in comparison to the flowers, I think the girl just really loved the way the flowers looked. But I'm like you, I didn't think that the vegetables looked ugly. Hayden, what do you think? Go ahead and unmute your mic, buddy.
That when her mom made the soup, she started feeling happy because she knew that everybody was gonna like it and it smelled good.
Exactly. I think that she felt proud probably that her mom was making a soup from the vegetables and that the neighbors thought it was awesome. Emmy?
I didn't really think the vegetables were that ugly.
Yeah, I didn't either. But yeah, I think the little girl just really wanted flowers. But you know what? I think it turned out really well because in the end, did the neighbors then, did the girl at the end of the story get what she wanted eventually?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did. And that was having those flowers. So not only did her mom plant vegetables, but also put some flowers in, so she has a good variety. That is awesome. I love to read this story every year during spring, because I know people start about getting their gardens ready and everything. So yeah. Anyway, so that is an example. We saw at the beginning of the story how a character can feel sad and unhappy. And as the story goes along, we start to see her change. And at the end of the story, she's no longer sad, but she's happy, she's proud. And I'm sure that that unexpected, that surprise of all the neighbors coming over with flowers was probably a very pleasant surprise for her. So anyway, but that is all I have for now. So are there any questions before we get ready to end this meeting? Are there any questions you have? Hayden, go ahead, buddy, unmute your mic. You gotta unmute your mic, buddy.
In the middle of the story, it like logged me out. Like probably like we left the meeting. I don't know what happened.
Okay, well, you know what? Maybe what I could do is, how many of you would like for me to maybe video it? Like I'll do a story, I'll read it, and it just be a read aloud. I think I will. I'll do a read aloud and I'll tape it. I'll put it with in the stream, and then some of our friends who maybe didn't get a chance to hear it can actually go back and listen to it. But why don't I do that, and then if you want to go back. I'm sorry that happened, Hayden. Sometimes technology just doesn't always work. It just does funny things sometimes. Riley?
Just now, it didn't allow me to hear what you said.
Okay, so what I had said is, I think what I'll do, Hayden said that some of the, he got booted out, so he didn't get to hear parts of the story. So what I think I'm gonna do is do a read aloud. I'm gonna tape myself reading this, and you can go back and listen to the story. And maybe some of our friends who didn't get a chance to join us today can listen to this. So I'll include it with the Zoom, because right now I record our Zoom meetings. I will record my reading this, and then without all the interruptions and stuff and the stopping, and then you can hear it again. So I guess I wanted to know if anybody has any other questions at all about anything. Emmy?
So like next week, you're not really going to post any work, so it's just going to be a complete catch up.
Yeah, it is. This week we'll have some lessons to finish out. There's going to be some stories to read and some questions. But the week after next, there's only 3 days. So we are not going to do any new assignments after that. That week is going to be for you to catch up on any work that didn't get done. If you finish all of your work and you're up to date, that is great. Just read, continue to read at home. We are going to check in. I'm going to look at my schedule, and I'm going to post another Zoom meeting this week. I'm just not exactly sure which day it's going to be. Probably we'll make it on Friday, but I will send an email, and I will make sure that I include time in my email to your parents to let them know. Again, I hope to have more information about when you can drive up and pick up your stuff. At school, it'll be a drive-by to get your things, but I have to get more information on that, okay? Any other questions? Remember, if you have any problems with any of your lessons and you're not sure about something, be sure to send me a message and I'll get back to you to help you with that. Everything should be pretty easy to click on and see, but let me know if you need any help with anything, okay? All right, listen, friends, I've got to go. I miss you guys so much. I say it all the time, but I love all of you, and I miss you so much. I look forward to hopefully seeing you in person one of these days, but I will be in touch, okay? And parents, thank you for everything that you've done to make this go as smoothly as it possibly can. So anyway, bye. I love you all. Mwah, mwah. Hugs. All right, I'll see you later, friends. Bye.
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 Bye.